Have you ever thought about how fragile even the most powerful companies really are? How just a few clicks from the wrong person can cause chaos across an entire country? Let me tell you what happened in the UK in April 2025, because this story isn't just about one company. It's a warning to the entire world. Marks & Spencer, better known as M&S, isn't just any retailer. It's a household name in Britain. It's where families shop for groceries, suits, wine, and Christmas dinner. It's a brand people trust, a part of daily life. But all that changed one morning in April. Customers began to notice something strange. The M&S website wasn't loading. Orders were disappearing, deliveries were delayed, some even canceled without warning. At first, people thought it was a bug, maybe a server issue, something temporary. But what was happening behind the scenes was far worse than a glitch. Marks & Spencer was under attack, a serious cyber attack. The attackers? A hacking group called Scattered Spider. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because they're already infamous. They were behind the high-profile attacks on Uber, MGM Resorts, and several US corporations. These aren't just hackers. They are professional, patient, and highly manipulative. They didn't use brute force. They used something far more terrifying: social engineering. They studied how M&S employees behaved. They imitated their tone, their vocabulary, even the way they asked for help. Then they started contacting the company, pretending to be real employees, and tricked IT support into giving them access. And just like that, they were inside. Once they got into the system, they began siphoning off data, not just numbers or files. We're talking about millions of personal records, names, birth dates, home addresses, shopping habits, phone numbers, data that could be used to scam, manipulate, or even steal identities. M&S had no idea at first. By the time the alarm bells rang, it was already too late. And the fallout? Massive. The company had to shut down parts of its digital infrastructure. Online orders were halted, customer service lines were flooded, stores were impacted too. Some ran out of stock because internal logistics systems stopped functioning properly. And then the media caught on. Headlines like, "Marks & Spencer suffers historic data breach," and "UK retail giant crippled by cyberattack," dominated news platforms across Europe. Investigators later discovered that the breach might have originated through TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, the IT firm that M&S uses for outsourcing much of its software infrastructure. Now, it's important to clarify, we still don't know whether TCS systems were directly compromised or if attackers simply used insider-level access through fake credentials. But either way, the result was the same: a catastrophic breach of one of the UK's most trusted companies. Experts estimate that the financial losses could be upwards of £300 million, and that doesn't even include the long-term damage to the brand's reputation. For customers, the concern wasn't just whether their orders would be delivered. It was whether their personal data was safe or already in the hands of cybercriminals. This event triggered a renewed debate across the UK and Europe. How secure are the systems we rely on every day? Should critical infrastructure like retail platforms depend on third-party vendors across borders? And most importantly, are companies doing enough to protect our data? What's chilling is that Scattered Spider didn't use cutting-edge technology to break in. They simply exploited human nature. They blended in, used insider knowledge, and waited for someone to let them in. This kind of cyber attack is nearly impossible to detect before it's too late, because it doesn't feel like an attack. It feels like a normal request, a familiar name, a routine task. And that's what makes it so dangerous. Now, months after the breach, Marks & Spencer is trying to rebuild. They've launched internal audits, hired cybersecurity consultants, and begun rolling out stricter protocols. But here's the uncomfortable truth. This could happen again. To any company, anywhere. Because in today's digital age, the biggest threat isn't always outside the firewall. It's already inside, disguised as someone you trust. So, the next time you open an app, place an online order, or type in your phone number, take a moment to ask yourself, how safe is your data? And who's really watching over it? This is more than just a cyber attack. It's a reminder that the modern world we live in, connected, convenient, and fast, is also fragile. And it only takes one breach to shake everything we thought was secure.